They told me my mother was dead, but the land she left behind was hiding a secret that proved she never really left. I didn't want the land. 80 acres in the middle of nowhere, buried deep in Montana, where the silence feels heavier than the past I was trying to escape. But when the lawyer called, something in his voice didn't sit right. And Bruno, my German shepherd, he felt it too. The moment we stepped onto that land, he started acting different, watching, listening, like something beneath our feet was still alive. I thought I came here to bury my past. I was wrong. Because whatever my mother left behind was waiting for me. Before we go any further, drop a comment and tell me where you're watching from. I want to see how far this story reaches. The coffee had been sitting on the burner too long, but Logan Pierce knew it the moment the bitter smell hit his nose, thick and burnt, clinging to the air like something that didn't want to leave. Still, he poured it anyway. His hands moved out of habit, not intention. A chipped mug, half a scoop of sugar, no cream. There hadn't been cream in the cabin for weeks. He took a sip and winced. It tasted wrong. Everything tasted wrong lately. The cabin was quiet. Too quiet. Not the kind of quiet that brought peace, but the kind that pressed against your ears until your own breathing sounded too loud. The kind that made you wait for something. A sound, a voice, a memory. But nothing came. Just the ticking of the old wall clock. Just the wind brushing against the loose boards outside. Just silence. Logan sat at the small wooden table, staring at the empty chair across from him. The cushion still dipped slightly, like it remembered the weight that used to sit there. His mother had always sat there, every morning. Even when she got too weak to cook, she'd sit and hum while he made breakfast. He could still hear it sometimes, that soft humming, except now it only came in flashes, in dreams, or in the seconds right before he realized it wasn't real. He blinked hard and looked away. "Not today," he muttered under his breath. But the past didn't listen. A sharp crack echoed outside. Logan froze. The mug slipped slightly in his hand as his body locked up before his mind could catch up. His breathing changed instantly, short, shallow, fast. His heart slammed against his ribs. Gunfire. No, not gunfire. Wood. Just wood. The old porch shifting in the wind. But his body didn't care. In his mind, and he was already back there. Dust in the air. Heat pressing down. The distant pop of something that could kill you before you even heard it. His chest tightened, vision narrowing, every nerve alive and screaming. "Down!" he barked instinctively, his chair scraping violently against the floor as he half stood, half fell. Before he could spiral further, something slammed into him, heavy, solid, warm. Bruno, the German shepherd, pushed against his chest with full force, knocking Logan back into the chair. The dog's paws planted firmly against him, pinning him in place. His amber eyes locked onto Logan's, unblinking, steady. "Easy, easy." The voice wasn't Logan's. It took him a second to realize it was coming from his own mouth. Bruno let out a low whine and pressed closer, his weight grounding, anchoring. And Logan's hands trembled as they found the thick fur around the dog's neck, gripping it like a lifeline. "Not there," Logan whispered. "I'm not there." Bruno's breathing was slow, controlled. He leaned harder, forcing Logan to match his rhythm. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. The world slowly came back into focus. The cabin, the table, the burnt coffee. No gunfire, no desert, no war. Just here. Logan swallowed hard, his throat tight. His hands slid down Bruno's back, lingering there longer than necessary. "You're getting too good at that," he said quietly. Bruno huffed softly, as if unimpressed. Logan let out a dry chuckle, but it didn't last. Nothing lasted these days. He pushed himself up and walked to the sink, dumping the rest of the coffee out. The dark liquid spiraled down the drain, it's disappearing faster than it should have, like everything else. 6 months. 6 months since his mother closed her eyes for the last time. 6 months since the house stopped feeling like a home. He thought he'd gotten used to it. He was wrong. The phone rang. Logan stiffened again, but not from fear this time, from surprise. The phone almost never rang. He stared at it for a moment, as if expecting it to stop on its own. It didn't. Bruno tilted his head, watching him. "Yeah," Logan muttered. "I hear it." The ringing continued. Annoying, persistent, out of place. Logan walked over and picked it up on the 4th ring. "Yeah." A pause. Then a voice. Older. Careful. "Is this Logan Pierce?" Logan frowned slightly. "Who's asking?" "My name is Richard Halbrook. I'm an attorney calling from Bozeman, Montana." Montana? Logan's grip on the phone tightened. "I think you've got the wrong number." "I don't believe I do, Mr. Pierce. This concerns your mother." "Margaret Pierce." The name hit him like a punch. Logan's chest tightened again, but this time for a different reason. "What about her?" There was a pause on the other end, a measured one, like the man was choosing his words carefully. "Before she passed, your mother updated a legal document, a will." Logan's jaw clenched. She didn't have anything worth putting in a will. "I'm afraid that's not entirely accurate." Silence stretched between them. Logan could hear Bruno shifting behind him, nails clicking softly on the wooden floor. "What are you talking about?" Logan said, his voice lower now. "Your mother was listed as the sole heir to a property in western Montana. 80 acres. Well, the title has now been transferred to you." Logan didn't respond. He just stood there, staring at the wall as the words sank in, then refused to make sense. "That's not possible." "It is, sir." "No," Logan said, shaking his head even though the man couldn't see him. "She would have told me. Perhaps she had her reasons for not doing so." Logan let out a short, humorless laugh. "Yeah? Like what?" Another pause. "I can't speak to her reasons, Mr. Pierce. Only to the facts. The property is yours now, free and clear." Logan ran a hand over his face. This didn't make sense. None of it did. "My mom didn't have family out there," he said slowly. "She told me that herself. Said they were all gone before I was born." "I understand that's what you were told," the lawyer replied gently. However, the records indicate otherwise." Logan felt something shift inside him. Not just confusion, something deeper, something colder. "What records?" "Your mother inherited the land from her father. Your grandfather." The word echoed in Logan's head. Grandfather. He hadn't heard that word in ever. "I don't have a grandfather," Logan said flatly. "Mr. Pierce," the lawyer said quietly, "you did. And from what I can tell, he's the reason you now own 80 acres in Montana." Logan didn't speak. The silence stretched again, heavier this time. Bruno stepped closer, pressing his side against Logan's leg, grounding him, keeping him here. "What kind of land?" Logan finally asked. "A farm, though it's been unoccupied for some time." A farm. Logan closed his eyes briefly. His mother had never mentioned anything like that. Well, not once. 17 years under the same roof, countless mornings. Countless nights. Nothing. Why now? Logan asked. Why didn't she tell me before she died? I wish I had an answer for you. Logan swallowed. Yeah, he muttered. Me too. The lawyer continued, explaining details. Paperwork, keys, a meeting if Logan decided to come out. Logan barely heard half of it. His mind was somewhere else. Somewhere between the past he thought he understood, and a truth that suddenly didn't fit. When the call ended, he stood there for a long time. The phone still in his hand, the cabin still quiet. But it wasn't the same quiet anymore. This one felt unstable, like something underneath it was shifting. Bruno nudged his hand. Logan looked down at him. Montana, he said softly. The dog's ears twitched, and Logan let out a slow breath. I don't even know what I'm supposed to find out there. Bruno didn't answer. He just stayed close, like always. Logan looked toward the door, toward the world outside the cabin. For the first time in months, something inside him stirred. Not peace, not hope, something else. Something uncertain. Something that felt like the beginning of a question he didn't know how to ask yet. All right, Logan said quietly. His voice was steady, barely. Let's go see what she didn't tell me. Bruno's tail gave a slow, deliberate wag. And just like that, the silence in the cabin no longer felt empty. It felt like something waiting, for answers, for truth, for whatever was buried out there. In 80 acres of land his mother had taken to her grave. Logan grabbed his keys. This time, his hands didn't shake, but his chest did. Because somewhere deep down, he already knew. This wasn't just about land. It was about everything he thought he knew, and everything that had been hidden from him, until now. The highway stretched out in front of Logan like a long, empty promise. Miles of cracked asphalt cut through fields that slowly gave way to rolling hills, then to dense forests where the trees stood tall and silent, like sentinels guarding something older than memory. The sky felt bigger out here, wider, endless in a way that made a man feel small. Logan kept both hands tight on the steering wheel, his knuckles pale against the worn leather. The engine hummed low beneath him, steady and constant, a rhythm he could hold on to. Something predictable, something real. Beside him, Bruno sat upright in the passenger seat, ears forward, eyes scanning the landscape as it passed. Every so often, the dog would shift slightly, nose twitching, as if catching scents Logan couldn't even begin to understand. They had been driving for hours. Logan hadn't turned on the radio. Silence felt safer, but it wasn't the same silence as the cabin. This one moved. This one breathed. He could feel it in the wind that pushed against the truck, in the distant cry of birds circling above the tree line, in the way the road curved like it knew where it was going, even if he didn't. You ever been to Montana? Logan muttered. Bruno didn't look at him. Yeah, Logan exhaled softly. Me neither. The GPS flickered on the dashboard, the signal coming and going as the mountains rose around them. The closer they got, the more the outside world seemed to disappear. No billboards, no gas stations, no signs of anything except land, and more land. Logan's eyes drifted to the rearview mirror. Empty road. Still. But something about it made his chest tighten. He looked forward again. Just nerves, he said under his breath. But he knew better. The feeling wasn't fear. Not exactly. It was something else. Something familiar. The same quiet tension he used to feel before a mission, before stepping into a place where things didn't quite add up, where the air felt wrong. Bruno shifted. This time he let out a low, almost inaudible sound in his throat. Logan glanced at him. "What is it?" Bruno's gaze stayed locked on the tree line as they passed, watching, tracking. Logan felt it then, that subtle shift, of the sense that they weren't alone anymore. He tightened his grip on the wheel. The road narrowed as they turned off the main highway, gravel crunching beneath the tires. Dust kicked up behind them, hanging in the air like a ghost that refused to settle. The lawyer had sent directions, precise, too precise. Logan followed them without speaking. Left turn past the broken fence, right at the rusted mailbox leaning sideways, straight through the open gate that looked like it hadn't been closed in years. And then he saw it. The land stretched out before him, wide and raw and untouched by anything recent. Tall grass swayed in the wind like waves on a silent ocean. Pines lined the edges, dark and dense, casting long shadows even in the afternoon light. And at the center of it all, the house. And it stood alone at the end of a dirt path, weathered but stubborn. 2 stories tall, wooden. The paint long faded, peeling in strips that curled like dry skin. The porch sagged slightly on one side. One of the windows was boarded up, but it was still standing, still holding on. Logan slowed the truck. Bruno leaned forward. The dog's posture changed instantly. No more calm observation. Now, alert, rigid. His ears shot up, his body tensed. A low growl rumbled deep in his chest. Logan's stomach tightened. "What do you see?" Bruno didn't answer. He was staring at the house, not just looking, focused, locked. Logan parked the truck a few yards away, engine idling for a moment before he shut it off. The sudden quiet felt heavier than before. No wind, no birds, nothing, just stillness. He opened the door. The air hit him differently out here. Cooler, cleaner, but there was something underneath it. Something faint. Something off. Bruno jumped down beside him, paws hitting the dirt with a soft thud. Immediately the dog began to move, not randomly, but with purpose. His nose dropped low, sweeping the ground in tight arcs. Logan watched him. Bruno wasn't just exploring. He was tracking. The dog moved toward the house, then stopped halfway. His head snapped to the right, toward the back of the property. A faint sound escaped him. Half growl, half warning. "Hey," Logan said softly. "Stay with me." Bruno didn't move. He just stood there, staring. Logan followed his gaze. There was nothing. Just an old wooden structure in the distance. What used to be a barn or storage shed. Part of it had collapsed, while the rest leaned at an angle like it was tired of standing. "Probably a rabbit," Logan muttered, but his voice lacked conviction. Bruno didn't relax, not even a little. Logan forced himself to turn away. "Come on," he said, walking toward the house. The porch creaked under his weight as he stepped onto it. The wood groaned like it remembered too many years. He reached for the door handle. Unlocked. Of course it was. He pushed it open slowly. The smell hit him first. Dust, old wood, something faintly metallic. The inside was dim, light filtering through dirty windows in thin beams that barely reached the floor. Furniture sat where it had been left. Table, chairs, a couch with a blanket still draped over the back like someone had just stood up and never returned. Logan stepped inside. Each footstep echoed softly, but Bruno followed, but only halfway. Then he stopped again. Logan turned. The dog was staring back toward the door, toward the outside, toward the barn. His ears were still up, still alert, still listening. Logan felt that tightness return in his chest. Bruno. The dog didn't move. Logan exhaled slowly. All right, he said. We'll check it. He stepped back outside. Bruno immediately moved ahead of him, faster now, more focused. The distance between the house and the old barn felt longer than it should have. The grass brushed against Logan's legs as he walked. The wind picked up again. But it didn't feel natural. It felt like something shifting, watching, waiting. Bruno reached the spot before Logan did. And then he started digging. Not playful, not curious. Desperate. Fierce. A dirt flew behind him as his paws tore into the ground, faster and faster, like he knew exactly where to go. Bruno, hey! Logan stepped closer. The dog didn't stop. Didn't even acknowledge him. That wasn't normal. Not for Bruno. Logan crouched beside him. Easy. What is it? Bruno growled softly, not at Logan, but at the ground. Logan's breath slowed. His instincts kicked in. This wasn't random. This was something. He grabbed a broken piece of wood nearby and started digging beside the dog. The soil was packed tight, like it hadn't been disturbed in years, until now. A dull, metallic sound rang out as the wood struck something solid. Logan froze. Bruno stopped digging too. They both stared at the same spot. Logan brushed the dirt away with his hands. And there it was, a metal cylinder, buried deep, hidden, waiting. Logan's pulse picked up. He pulled it free, dirt falling away in clumps as the object came loose. It was heavier than it looked. Cold to the touch. Sealed. For a moment he just stared at it. Then he twisted the cap. It resisted at first, then gave. Inside, a key. Old. Iron. Heavy. A folded piece of paper. Logan unfolded it carefully. Coordinates. Handwritten. And beneath them, 4 words. Don't trust the water. The wind picked up suddenly, rushing through the trees like a warning. Logan looked up. The land didn't feel empty anymore. It felt alive. And whatever had been buried here was never meant to stay hidden forever. The wind didn't die down. It moved through the trees in long, uneven breaths, like something restless had been stirred awake. Logan stood there, the metal cylinder still in his hands, the dirt clinging to his fingers, the note trembling slightly between them. Don't trust the water. The words didn't just sit on the page. They lingered, pressed, like they were meant to stay in his head. Bruno stepped closer, his body brushing against Logan's leg. The dog's eyes weren't on the paper. They were scanning the land again, back toward the house, then to the tree line, then somewhere deeper, like he was mapping something invisible. Logan folded the note slowly. All right, he muttered. All right, let's think. But thinking wasn't easy out here. Not with that feeling in his chest. Not with the way the air seemed thicker than it should be. He looked at the key again. Old, heavy, worn smooth along the edges, like it had been used many times, then hidden away deliberately. This wasn't random, Logan said quietly. Bruno huffed once, low. Yeah, Logan nodded. I know. He slipped the key and the note into his jacket pocket, then stood up, scanning the property again. The house behind them. The broken barn. The stretch of land that seemed to go on forever. 80 acres. And somewhere inside it, a secret. Logan exhaled slowly. Let's start simple. He turned back toward the house. Bruno didn't follow. Logan stopped after a few steps and turned around. The dog was still standing at the spot they'd dug, still staring at the ground, still tense. Bruno? No response. Logan walked back. Hey. He crouched beside him again, placing a hand gently on the dog's neck. The muscles there were tight, coiled. "This isn't over, is it?" Bruno let out a soft whine. Not fear. Frustration. Like something was missing. But Logan glanced at the hole. They'd pulled the cylinder out, but the dirt around it still looked disturbed, uneven. His instincts kicked in again. "All right," he said under his breath. "We're not done." He grabbed the wood again and started digging deeper. Bruno immediately joined in, faster this time, more focused. The dirt came away in thick clumps, revealing darker soil beneath. Then, a hollow sound. Logan froze. Bruno stopped too. They both listened. Logan tapped the ground lightly with the wood. Hollow. His pulse picked up. "Move," he said quietly. Bruno stepped back. Logan cleared more dirt away, revealing a flat surface beneath. Wood. A lid, buried just beneath the soil. Logan's breath slowed as he brushed away the last of the dirt. There was a small metal ring embedded in the center, and he hooked his fingers through it. Pulled. At first it didn't move. Then, with a low creak, it gave. The lid lifted just enough to reveal darkness beneath. Cold air rushed up from below, brushing against Logan's face. He instinctively leaned back. It smelled wrong. Not rot. Not decay. Just stale. Sealed. Like air that hadn't moved in a very long time. Bruno stepped forward again, nose low, sniffing the opening. Then he let out a sharp bark. One. Loud. Clear. Logan's heart jumped. "What?" The dog didn't answer. He just stood there, alert, staring into the darkness. Logan leaned closer. There was something down there. Not moving. Not breathing. Just there. A narrow shaft. Wooden supports lining the sides. Old. Handmade. And at the bottom, a metal hatch. Locked, as Logan's fingers instinctively went to his jacket. The key. He pulled it out slowly. His mind raced. This wasn't just buried. This was hidden. Protected. For who? From who? Bruno nudged his arm. Logan looked down at him. "You think this is it?" Bruno didn't move. Didn't blink. Just waited. Logan swallowed. "All right." He lowered himself carefully into the shaft, boots finding the wooden supports one step at a time. The air grew colder as he descended, the light above shrinking with each movement. His breath echoed softly in the confined space. Bruno stayed above, watching, guarding. Logan reached the bottom. The metal hatch sat in front of him, old but solid. A thick lock sealed it shut. He held the key up. For a moment he hesitated. Something about this felt final. Like once he opened it, there was no going back. He closed his eyes briefly, then inserted the key. It fit perfectly. Of course it did. He turned it. The lock clicked. Loud. Echoing. Too loud. Logan's chest tightened. He paused, listening. Nothing. Just the faint creak of wood above. Just the wind outside. Just his own heartbeat. He opened the hatch slowly. It resisted, then gave with a heavy groan. The darkness inside was deeper than the shaft, thicker. Logan reached into his pocket and pulled out a small flashlight. The beam cut through the black, revealing empty space. A small chamber, bare walls, dust, and in the center, a table. Logan stepped inside cautiously. The air felt heavier here. Still. Too still. Like it had been waiting. The beam of light moved across the table. There was something on it. A glass jar, shut half full of water. Clear, still, untouched. Logan's breath caught. "Don't trust the water." The words echoed in his head. He stepped closer. The jar looked normal. Too normal. But everything about this place said otherwise. Bruno barked again from above. Louder this time. Urgent. Logan turned toward the shaft. "What is it?" No answer. Just another bark. Closer. Sharper. Logan's instincts screamed. "Move. Now." He grabbed the jar without thinking and climbed back up the shaft quickly, muscles tightening with each movement. The moment he pulled himself out, he saw it. A truck, parked at the edge of the property. It hadn't been there before. The engine was off, the doors closed, but someone was inside, watching. Logan froze. Bruno stepped in front of him instantly, body low, protective. The driver's door creaked open. A man stepped out, tall, clean, dressed too well for this place. He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "Mr. Pierce?" the man called out casually. "Took you long enough to get here." Logan didn't respond. His grip tightened around the jar. The man walked forward slowly, hands visible, posture relaxed. "Name's Calvin Rourke," he said. "I've been meaning to talk to you." Logan's eyes narrowed. "About what?" Calvin glanced around the property, then back at Logan. "About that land you just inherited." A pause, then, "I'd like to buy it." Logan felt something shift again. That same cold instinct from before. This wasn't coincidence. This wasn't timing. This was something else. Something planned. "How much?" Logan asked flatly. Calvin smiled wider. "Enough that you won't have to worry about anything ever again." Logan didn't move, didn't blink. Bruno growled low beside him. The wind picked up again, carrying dust across the ground between them. Calvin tilted his head slightly. "Trust me," he said. "You don't want to stay here." Logan's jaw tightened. "Why not?" Calvin's smile didn't fade, but his eyes changed, just for a second. "Because," he said softly, "some things buried out here should have stayed that way." Silence fell between them, heavy, unspoken. And in that moment, Logan knew. This wasn't just land. This was a warning, and whatever his mother had hidden, someone else was still trying to keep it buried. The man didn't wait for an answer. Calvin Rourke stood there with that same calm, measured smile, like he already knew how this would play out, and like he had seen this moment before, and knew how it ended. Logan didn't lower the jar, didn't move. Bruno stepped slightly forward, placing himself between Logan and the stranger, his body low, muscles tight, a quiet warning rumbling in his chest. Calvin noticed. "Beautiful dog," he said casually. "Smart too. The kind that knows when something's not right." Logan's eyes didn't leave him. "Say what you came to say." Calvin nodded slowly, like he appreciated the directness. "All right," he said. "Simple version. I've been trying to acquire this land for a long time. Your mother wasn't interested. Now you are the owner, and I'm offering you a way out before things get complicated." Logan let out a short breath. "You drove all the way out here to make an offer the same day I arrived." Calvin shrugged lightly. "I keep track of things that matter." That answer didn't sit right, not even close. Logan glanced briefly at the truck behind him. Clean, expensive, out of place. Then back to Calvin. "What's on this land?" Logan asked. Calvin's smile didn't change. "Nothing worth your time." "Then why do you want it?" A pause. just long enough to be noticeable. Because I can see its potential, Calvin replied smoothly. Logan nodded once. Yeah, he said quietly. That's not it. The air shifted, subtle, but real. Calvin's eyes hardened just slightly. I'm trying to be fair here, he said. You don't know this place. You don't understand it. I do. Logan took a step forward. Then explain it. Bruno's growl deepened. Calvin raised his hand slightly, as if to calm things down. Look, he said, his tone softening again. Oh, I'm offering you a clean exit. No headaches, no questions. Just money and a fresh start somewhere else. Logan stared at him, then slowly shook his head. I just got here. Calvin sighed, like a man disappointed, not surprised. All right, he said. Think about it. He reached into his jacket and pulled out a card, placing it gently on the hood of Logan's truck. My number's on there. Call me before you make any decisions you might regret. Logan didn't move. Calvin took a step back, then another. Before turning, he paused. And Mr. Pierce? Logan didn't respond. Calvin's voice dropped slightly. There's a reason your mother kept this place hidden from you. A beat. Ask yourself why. Then he turned and walked back to his truck. The engine started. Gravel crunched beneath the tires, and just like that, he was gone. A dust lingered in the air long after the truck disappeared down the road. Logan stood there in silence, the jar still in his hand, the words still in his head. Don't trust the water. Bruno slowly relaxed, but only slightly. His ears were still alert, eyes still scanning the distance where the truck had vanished. Logan walked to the hood and picked up the card. Calvin Rourke. A number. Nothing else. No company name. No address. Just a name. Logan flipped it over. Blank. Yeah, he muttered. That feels about right. He slipped the card into his pocket, then looked back at the land. Everything felt different now. Not just mysterious. Occupied. Watched. He exhaled slowly. All right, he said quietly. We stay sharp. Bruno huffed once. Agreement. The sun began to dip behind the trees, on shadows stretching longer across the field. The temperature dropped with it, the air growing colder, heavier. Logan gathered what he could from the truck. Flashlight, a small pack, a few supplies. He didn't trust the house yet. Didn't trust anything yet. But he needed shelter. Night was coming fast. Inside the house, the air felt even stiller than before. Logan set the jar carefully on the table. He stared at it for a moment. Clear, harmless. But his instincts said otherwise. Not yet, he said under his breath. He moved through the house slowly, checking doors, windows, corners, old habits, clearing space, making sure nothing unexpected was waiting in the dark. Bruno stayed close, closer than usual. Every creak made his ears twitch. Every shadow held his attention a second too long. Logan noticed. Yeah, he murmured. I feel it too. By the time darkness settled fully, the house was quiet again. Too quiet. Logan sat on the edge of the couch, boots still on, jacket still zipped. He didn't bother with lights beyond a single lantern, casting a dim glow across the room. The jar sat on the table, untouched. He hadn't taken a sip of anything since they arrived. Didn't plan to. Bruno lay near the door, head up, eyes open. Guarding. Always guarding. Logan leaned back slightly, staring at the ceiling. For a moment. Just a moment. It almost felt calm, then a sound. Sharp, Sudden. Logan was on his feet before his mind caught up. The lantern flickered as he moved, shadows jumping across the walls. What was that? Bruno was already up, facing the back of the house, ears locked, body rigid. Another sound, this time closer. Wood. Cracking. Logan's chest tightened. His breath shortened. The room shifted. Walls closing in. Heart racing. Not here. Not now. But his body didn't care. The flashback hit hard. Heat. Noise. Chaos. He was back there again. Bruno lunged forward, slamming into him just like before. Grounding him, pulling him out. "Stay with me," Logan whispered, gripping the dog's fur. "Stay with me." The world steadied. Just enough. Then, a glow, faint, flickering, through the back window. Logan turned slowly. His stomach dropped. Light, orange, moving. Fire. "Bruno!" They were already moving. Logan rushed to the back door, throwing it open. The night air hit him hard. Cold, sharp. But the fire was real. The old wooden shed behind the house, engulfed. Flames tore through the dry wood, climbing fast, hungry. Unstoppable. Sparks shot into the air, carried by the wind like a storm of embers. Logan's pulse spiked. "No, no, no!" He ran toward it, but stopped short. Too fast. Too sudden. This wasn't an accident. Bruno barked violently, circling, scanning the darkness beyond the flames. Logan followed his gaze. And there, at the edge of the property, a vehicle, barely visible, engine running, no headlights, watching, waiting. Logan's fists clenched. "You've got to be kidding me." The fire roared louder, heat pushing him back. The shed collapsed inward with a heavy crack, sparks bursting upward. Logan took a step forward. Bruno blocked him, firm, unmoving. "No," Logan said. "I can't just—" Bruno growled low, insistent, warning. Logan hesitated, then looked back at the fire. Nothing inside could be saved. Not anymore. He swallowed hard and stepped back. The vehicle in the distance didn't move, just sat there, watching. Then slowly, it turned and disappeared into the dark. The fire burned until there was nothing left. Just ash, just smoke, just silence again. Logan stood there long after the flames died down, the glow fading into embers. His chest rose and fell slowly, controlled, barely. Bruno stayed beside him, closer than ever. "You see that?" Logan said quietly. The dog didn't respond. Didn't need to. Logan nodded once. "Yeah," he said. "So did I." He looked out across the land, the same land that had felt empty just hours ago. Now it felt targeted. "This isn't about buying land," Logan muttered. The wind carried the last of the smoke away, and in its place something else settled in. Not fear, not confusion. Oh, something sharper, something focused. "They want me gone," Logan said. Bruno's ears flicked. Logan's jaw tightened. "Which means," he continued slowly, "I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be." The embers glowed faintly in the dark, and for the first time since arriving, Logan wasn't just reacting anymore. He was paying attention, because whatever was happening here had just become personal. The fire left behind more than ash. It left a silence that felt heavier than before, thick, pressing down on the land like something had drawn a line. Logan stood at the edge of the burned-out shed as the last thin threads of smoke drifted upward into the cold Montana sky. The structure was gone, reduced to blackened beams and collapsed timber. Whatever had been inside, erased. Logan crouched slowly, boots crunching over charred wood. The smell clung to everything, sharp, Bitter, final. Bruno stayed close, his nose working the ground, circling the edges of the destruction. Not frantic, not confused, focused. He stopped suddenly. Logan noticed immediately. "What is it?" Bruno lowered his head near the ground and sniffed one spot longer than the others. Then he pawed lightly at the dirt beside a burned beam. Logan moved closer. There, just beyond the reach of the fire, fresh tire tracks. Not old, not faded, fresh. Logan ran his fingers through the dirt, feeling the grooves. His jaw tightened. They didn't even try to hide it. Bruno huffed. Logan stood slowly and looked out toward the edge of the property again, the same direction the vehicle had disappeared. They came here knowing exactly where to go. That thought didn't sit right, not just because of the fire, but because of the timing. Same day he arrived, same night. Like someone had been waiting, watching, tracking. Logan exhaled slowly and turned back toward the house. "We need answers," he said. Bruno followed without hesitation. Inside, the cabin felt colder, not from the temperature, but from something else, the kind of cold that settles in after something has been disturbed. Logan walked straight to the table. The jar was still there, untouched. Clear water sitting under dim light like it didn't belong. "Don't trust the water," he muttered again. His eyes narrowed. He grabbed an old metal cup from the counter and poured a small amount from the jar into it. Bruno watched closely. Logan hesitated, then stepped outside. He poured the water slowly onto the dirt. They both watched. But nothing happened. No reaction, no smell, no sign. Logan frowned. "That's it?" he said under his breath. Bruno didn't relax. The dog's ears were still up, still listening. Logan looked at the remaining water in the jar. Or maybe it's not that simple. He set the jar aside. Something about it still didn't feel right. But it wasn't the only thing. The words, the key, the hatch, the fire, and now, the tracks. Logan turned toward the door again. "We're not alone out here." Bruno stood, ready. Logan grabbed his jacket. "We're going into town." The drive felt shorter this time. Or maybe Logan just wasn't paying attention to the distance anymore. His mind was busy connecting pieces that didn't quite fit. Someone knew about the land. Someone wanted it. And someone was willing to send a message. The small town appeared between the trees like something from another Tim. One main road, a few scattered buildings, a gas station, a diner, a post office that looked like it hadn't changed in decades. Logan parked near the edge of the street. Bruno stayed in the truck, watching. "Be right back," Logan said. The bell above the diner door rang softly as he stepped inside. Warm air wrapped around him instantly. The smell of coffee and fried food filled the space. A few locals sat scattered at tables, quiet conversations, low voices. Heads turned slightly when Logan walked in. Out of place. Stranger. That was enough. He walked up to the counter. An older woman behind it glanced at him. "You passing through?" she asked. "Something like that," Logan replied. He took a seat. "Coffee?" He nodded. Well, she poured it without asking anything else. Logan wrapped his hands around the mug. Warm. Grounding. "Looking for someone," he said after a moment. The woman raised an eyebrow. "Depends who." "Earl Dawson." The name hung in the air for a second. Subtle shift. Not obvious. But there. The woman set the pot down slowly. "Why?" Logan met her gaze. "He used to work on a property outside town. Belonged to my family." Another pause. Longer this time. She studied him, then glanced toward the back of the diner. "He's still around," she said quietly. Doesn't talk much anymore. Where can I find him? She hesitated, then pointed down the road. Last house before the tree line. White porch. You'll know it when you see it. Logan nodded. Appreciate it. He stood, leaving cash on the counter. As he turned to leave, she spoke again. You staying out there? Logan paused. Yes. She held his gaze for a second, then said softly, Be careful what you go digging into. Logan didn't respond. He just nodded once and walked out. The drive to the house took less than 5 minutes. The place looked exactly like she described. Old, worn, quiet. Logan stepped out of the truck. Bruno stayed close this time. The porch creaked as they approached. Logan knocked once. No answer. Then again. A voice came from inside. Low. Rough. Doors open. Logan pushed it. The inside was dim, filled with the smell of old wood and something faintly medicinal. A man sat in a chair near the window, thin, weathered, his face lined with years and something heavier. Earl Dawson. He didn't look up immediately, just kept staring out the window. Oh, you Pierce's boy? He asked. Logan stepped inside. Yes. Earl nodded slowly. Knew this day would come. Logan's chest tightened. What day? Earl finally turned his head. His eyes were sharp, tired, but sharp. The day someone came asking questions your mother didn't want answered. Silence filled the room. Logan stepped closer. She never told me about the land. Earl let out a dry breath. No, he said. She wouldn't. Why not? Earl studied him for a long moment, then asked, You drink the water out there? Logan froze. No. Earl nodded once. Good. The word settled heavy in the room. Logan's pulse picked up. What's wrong with it? Earl didn't answer right away. He looked back out the window, like he was deciding something. Then finally, Your mother didn't die from what they told you. Logan's breath caught. What? Earl's voice dropped. People said it was illness, something that took her slow. He shook his head slightly. That's not what I saw. Logan stepped closer. What did you see? Earl looked at him directly now, and for the first time, there was something like fear in his eyes. I saw a woman who figured something out she wasn't supposed to. A beat. And I saw what it did to her. Logan's chest tightened hard. What are you saying? Earl leaned back slowly. I'm saying, he said quietly, you need to stop thinking your mother is gone because she got sick. Silence. Heavy. Unmoving. Logan's voice came out lower now. Then why did she die? Earl didn't blink. Because someone made sure she wouldn't keep talking. The words hit harder than anything before. Logan felt the ground shift beneath him. This wasn't confusion anymore. This wasn't mystery. This was something else entirely. Something darker. Who? Logan asked. Earl didn't answer. Instead, he said something else. Something that stopped everything. You ever consider, he said slowly, that your mother might not be dead at all? Logan didn't move, didn't breathe. What? Earl held his gaze. Long, unflinching. I'm saying, he repeated, there's things buried out there that don't stay buried. A long silence followed. Bruno shifted beside Logan, pressing against his leg, grounding him, holding him steady, but Logan's world had already tilted. His voice barely came out. You're telling me she could still be alive? Earl didn't answer right away. Then, a slow nod. And just like that, everything Logan thought he understood about his past shattered. The room felt smaller, like the walls had shifted inward without anyone noticing. Logan stood there, staring at Earl Dawson, trying to hold on to something solid. But there was nothing left to grab. Not after that. Not after hearing the words out loud. She could still be alive. It didn't make sense. It couldn't. And yet, something deep inside him refused to reject it completely, because nothing about the last 24 hours had made sense. The land, the hatch, the warning, the fire, and now this. Logan swallowed hard. You're asking me to believe my mother… He stopped, breath catching. Huh? That she's been alive this whole time? Earl didn't flinch. I'm telling you, he said quietly, your mother didn't trust anyone near the end. Not the doctors. Not the people asking questions. Not even the ones pretending to help. Logan's jaw tightened. What people? Earl shook his head slowly. Men like the one who came looking for you. Calvin. The name didn't need to be spoken. Logan exhaled slowly, trying to keep his voice steady. You said she found something. Earl nodded. Something tied to that land. Something in the water. And under it. Logan's mind flashed to the jar, the clear liquid sitting quietly on that table, waiting. What kind of something? Logan asked. Earl hesitated, then leaned forward slightly. The kind that makes people disappear if they talk about it. The words settled into the room like dust, heavy, unmoving. Logan felt his chest tighten again. But this time it wasn't panic. It was clarity, the kind that comes right before a decision. You've known all this, Logan said. And you didn't tell anyone? Earl's eyes hardened. You think I didn't try? Silence. Earl looked away. Things happened, he added. People got warned. Then they stopped asking questions. Logan nodded slowly. That part, he understood. More than he wanted to. Why are you telling me now? Earl looked back at him. Because you're already in it. A pause. And because your mother left something behind. For you. Logan's breath slowed. What? Earl stood carefully, his movements stiff with age but deliberate, and he walked to a small cabinet near the wall and opened it. From inside he pulled out an envelope. Old, worn, sealed. He held it for a moment before turning back. She came to me a long time ago, Earl said. Gave me this. Told me if anything ever happened, if you showed up asking questions, I was supposed to give it to you. Logan stepped forward slowly. Earl extended the envelope. Their hands met briefly as Logan took it. It felt heavier than paper should, like it carried more than just words. Bruno stepped closer, watching. Logan looked down at the envelope. His name was written across it, in his mother's handwriting. His chest tightened instantly. For a second, he couldn't open it. Couldn't breathe. Earl spoke quietly. She knew you'd come back, he said. Logan swallowed hard, then slowly broke the seal. As inside, a folded map, and a smaller note. His hands trembled slightly as he unfolded the paper. The map showed the land, his land, but not the way he had seen it. This version had markings, lines, circles, coordinates, and one point, circled heavily, almost pressed into the paper, near the mountains. Logan's eyes shifted to the smaller note. He opened it carefully. The handwriting was the same. Familiar. Painfully familiar. Logan, if you're reading this, it means I didn't have time. Trust Bruno. Trust what you feel, not what they tell you. The water isn't safe, and neither are the people asking about it. Follow the map. Don't come looking for me. They'll be watching. Mom. The words blurred for a second. Logan blinked hard. His hand tightened around the paper. She knew, he whispered. Earl nodded slowly. Oh, she always knew. Logan looked back at the map. That point, he said. What's there? Earl shook his head. I never went. Why not? Earl's expression didn't change. Because your mother told me not to. Silence. Bruno shifted closer, pressing against Logan's leg, grounding him again, always grounding him. Logan exhaled slowly. She said, don't come looking for her. Earl nodded. And you're going to ignore that, aren't you? Logan didn't hesitate. Yes. Earl studied him for a long moment, then gave a small, almost approving nod. Figured. Logan folded the map carefully and slipped it into his jacket. The note followed. His chest felt tight again, but not from confusion, from direction. For the first time since arriving, he had somewhere to go, a reason to move. He turned toward the door. Oh, thank you, he said. Earl didn't respond right away. Then, be careful who you trust, he said. Logan paused. I don't trust anyone. Earl shook his head slightly. Then you won't make it out there. Logan frowned. What do you mean? Earl looked at Bruno, then back at Logan. You've got one thing on your side, he said. Don't ignore it. Logan glanced down at Bruno. The dog met his gaze, steady, unshaken. Logan nodded once. I won't. Outside, the air felt colder than before, the sky darker, like the day had shifted without warning. Logan got into the truck. Bruno climbed in beside him. For a moment, neither of them moved. Logan stared ahead, hands on the wheel, breathing steady. Then, Bruno stiffened. His ears snapped forward. Low growl. Logan followed his gaze. Across the street, a car, parked, and engine off, windows tinted, watching. Logan's jaw tightened. They're fast, he muttered. Bruno's growl deepened. Logan didn't wait. He started the engine and pulled out slowly, acting like he hadn't noticed. The car didn't move. At first. Then, it did. Falling in behind them, keeping distance, but not hiding. Logan exhaled slowly. All right, he said. So that's how it's going to be. He turned onto the main road. The mountains loomed ahead, dark, massive, waiting. He pressed the gas slightly harder. The car behind followed. Bruno shifted closer, eyes fixed on the mirror. Logan's grip tightened. The map, the note, the warning. Everything was pulling him in one direction. Forward. Into something he didn't understand yet. Into something his mother had tried to keep him away from. But it was too late now. They were already in it. And somewhere ahead, in those mountains, was the truth. Or something that wanted to stay hidden just as badly as before. Logan's voice was low, steady. We're not stopping. Bruno didn't move, didn't blink. Just stayed locked on the road ahead. Ready. Whatever came next, they were going to face it together. The road narrowed as it climbed. Pine trees pressed closer on both sides, their shadows stretching across the gravel like long fingers trying to pull the truck back. The The sky above dimmed behind the ridgeline, turning a deep gray blue as evening settled in faster than it should. Logan didn't slow down. His eyes stayed on the road, but his mind was tracking something else. The car behind them. Still there. Keeping distance. Not hiding. Bruno sat upright, his gaze fixed on the side mirror, and every muscle in his body tuned to something Logan couldn't see, but could feel. "They're not trying to lose us," Logan muttered. The engine growled as he pushed a little harder. The road curved sharply to the left. Gravel kicked up behind the tires. The car followed. Same speed, same distance. Logan exhaled slowly. "All right," he said. "Let's see how patient you are." He took the next turn faster than he should have. The truck leaned slightly. Bruno braced himself instinctively. The car behind adjusted, but slower, just enough to confirm it. "They're not used to this terrain," Logan said. "A small advantage. Not much, but enough." The road split ahead. No sign, no markings. Just two paths disappearing into the trees. Logan made a decision without hesitation. Right. The truck veered off sharply, their tires crunching over uneven ground. The trees grew denser, the path rougher. Branches scraped lightly against the sides of the truck. Logan checked the mirror. The car hesitated at the fork. Then, it went left. Gone. Logan slowed slightly, breathing steady again. Bruno relaxed just a fraction. "They lost us," Logan said quietly. But he didn't feel relief. Not yet. Because if they could find him once, they could do it again. The truck climbed higher until the path opened into a small clearing overlooking the valley below. Logan stopped there, engine idling. The world stretched out beneath them. Wide, silent, beautiful in a way that felt almost unreal. But Logan wasn't looking at the view. He pulled out the map, spread it across the steering wheel. The markings lined up with the terrain, and the circled point was somewhere deeper, further into the mountains, off the main paths. Hidden, huh? Logan traced the route with his finger. "We're close, Bateau," he said. Bruno shifted slightly. Then, he stiffened. Logan noticed instantly. "What is it?" Bruno's head turned, not toward the road they came from, but behind them, toward the trees. A low growl built in his chest. Logan's pulse picked up. He slowly looked in the rearview mirror. Nothing. Just trees. Still. Too still. Then, a sound. Soft. Crunching. Footsteps. Not on gravel. On leaves. Close. Logan's hand moved instinctively toward the door. Bruno stepped forward, positioning himself between Logan and the direction of the sound. Then a voice. Familiar. "Easy. Easy. It's just me." Logan froze. The voice stepped out from the trees. A man, mid-50s, a rough face, worn clothes, and eyes Logan recognized immediately. Too well. "Uncle Ray." The words came out flat. Not warm, not surprised. Just heavy. Ray Pierce raised his hand slightly, like he meant no harm. "Didn't think you'd recognize me," he said with a small, uneasy smile. Logan didn't return it. "What are you doing here?" Ray glanced at Bruno, then back at Logan. "Heard you came back," he said. "Figured I should see you myself." Logan's eyes narrowed. "How?" Ray hesitated. Just for a second. Too long. Logan saw it. The shift. The crack. "You didn't just hear," Logan said quietly. Ray's smile faded. Look, Logan. No, Logan cut in. Answer the question. The air tightened instantly. Ray exhaled slowly. People talk, he said. Yeah, Logan replied. And people follow. Silence. Bruno's growl deepened. Ray glanced at the dog again, uneasy now. That thing always this protective? Logan didn't respond. He stepped out of the truck slowly, closing the door behind him. Bruno stayed right at his side. You've been talking to someone, Logan said. Ray shook his head. It's not like that. Then what is it like? Ray looked away briefly, then back. They offered money, he said. The words landed hard. But Logan didn't react. Not outwardly. How much? Ray swallowed. Enough to take care of things. Debts, medical bills, stuff you don't understand. Logan took a step closer. Try me. Ray's jaw tightened. They said if I let them know when you showed up, they'd handle the rest. Bruno's growl turned sharper. Logan felt something inside him go still. Not anger. Not yet. Something colder. Oh, you sold me out, Logan said. Ray flinched. It wasn't like that. It is exactly like that. Ray shook his head, frustration rising. You don't get it. This land, it's not safe. You think I wanted to do this? I was trying to protect you. Logan's eyes hardened. By telling them where I was? They were going to find you anyway, Ray shot back. At least this way I could make sure they didn't. He stopped himself. Too late. Logan stepped closer. Didn't what? Ray's silence said everything. Logan's chest tightened. Not from fear, from something worse. Disappointment. You knew, Logan said quietly. You knew what happened to my mom. Ray looked away. Not everything, he muttered. But enough. Silence fell between them. Heavy, unavoidable. Bruno pressed closer against Logan's leg, grounding him and holding him steady. Logan nodded slowly. Yeah, he said. That's enough. Ray stepped forward slightly. Logan, listen to me. Just sell the land. Take the money. Walk away. This isn't something you fight. Logan shook his head. You already made your choice. Ray's face tightened. And you're making a mistake. Logan didn't respond. He turned back toward the truck. Bruno followed immediately. Ray called out behind him. You think you're going to find something out there? You think she wanted you digging this up? Logan paused, just for a second, then spoke without turning around. She left me a map. Ray froze. Logan continued. And she didn't hide it for them. A beat. She hid it for me. He opened the truck door, got in. Bruno jumped in beside him. Ray stepped forward again, his desperation creeping into his voice. Logan, don't do this! The engine started. Logan looked straight ahead, didn't look back. You should have stayed out of it, he said quietly. Then he drove. The truck moved forward, leaving Ray standing in the clearing, shrinking in the distance. Bruno stayed alert, watching, listening. Logan's grip on the wheel tightened, not shaking. Not anymore. Something inside him had shifted again, another piece falling into place. They're closer than I thought, he said. Bruno didn't move, didn't blink. Logan exhaled slowly. Good. The word came out colder than he expected. Because now, this wasn't just about the land, or the truth, or even his mother. Now it was about something else entirely. Trust, and the fact that he didn't have any left to give. The road ahead narrowed again, and leading deeper into the mountains. Darker, quieter, more isolated. Logan followed it without hesitation, because whatever was waiting out there was worth more than anything they could offer him to walk away. And this time, he wasn't running from it. He was heading straight toward it. The road ended without warning. One moment there was gravel beneath the tires, winding through trees that grew thicker and taller with every mile. And the next, there was nothing. Just earth, uneven, untouched. Logan slowed the truck to a stop. The engine idled for a second, then he shut it off. Silence returned, but not the same silence as before. This one felt deeper, like the mountain itself was holding its breath. Logan grabbed the map again, spreading it across the steering wheel. The circled point was no longer far. It was here, somewhere beyond the trees ahead. "No more roads," he said quietly. Bruno shifted in his seat. "Ready?" Logan nodded. "Yeah, I figured." He stepped out of the truck. The air hit him colder than before, carrying the scent of pine and damp earth. The light was fading fast now, shadows pooling between the trees like dark water. Bruno jumped down beside him. Immediately, the dog moved forward, not hesitating, not waiting. He knew. Logan followed. The ground sloped upward, roots breaking through the soil, rocks hidden beneath layers of fallen leaves. Every step required attention. Careful, deliberate. The deeper they went, the quieter it became. No wind, no birds, nothing. Just the sound of their footsteps, and Logan's breathing. Slow at first, then shorter, tighter. The trees closed in. The space narrowed. And just like that. His body reacted. His chest tightened, vision narrowing. The familiar weight pressing down on him again. Not here. But his mind didn't care. The forest shifted in his eyes, became something else. Heat, dust, confined space, no way out. Logan. He didn't realize he said his own name out loud. Bruno stopped, turned, came back to him. The dog pressed firmly against his side, grounding, anchoring. "Stay with me," Logan whispered, his voice tight. "Stay with me." Bruno leaned harder, steady, present. Logan closed his eyes for a second. Inhale, exhale. The forest returned. The trees, the cold air, the quiet. Not the past, not the war. Now. He opened his eyes again. "All right," he muttered. Bruno stayed close, closer than before. They kept moving, step by step, until the ground changed, subtle, but different. More rock, less soil. The trees thinned slightly, opening into a narrow clearing between the base of the mountain and a steep rise of stone. Logan stopped. This is it. The map didn't lie. The circled point. Right here. But there was nothing. Just rock. Cold. Solid. Unmoving. Logan frowned. "No," he said. "There's something." Bruno moved ahead, nose low, scanning. Then he stopped, at the base of the rock face. Logan stepped closer. At first it looked like nothing more than a natural crack in the stone. But then he saw it. Edges too straight, lines too deliberate. This wasn't natural. It was hidden. A narrow opening, partially covered by loose stone and dirt. Logan pushed against it. The rocks shifted, fell away, revealing darkness behind them, as a passage. Bruno let out a low sound. Not fear, warning. Logan's pulse picked up. "This is it," he said again. He pulled out his flashlight. The beam cut into the darkness, revealing a narrow tunnel, descending. Logan hesitated for only a second, then stepped inside. The temperature dropped instantly. Cold air wrapped around him, thick and unmoving. The light from outside faded behind them, swallowed. The walls were rough, carved by hand or tool, hard to tell. Old, very old. Each step echoed softly. The space narrowed, the ceiling lowered. Logan had to duck slightly as they moved deeper. The air grew heavier, harder to breathe. The walls felt closer, too close. His chest tightened again, faster this time, stronger. The darkness pressed in, the silence screamed. He stopped. "Oh, not again." His voice echoed back at him, distorted. "Wrong." Bruno turned immediately, pressed into him again, harder, stronger. Logan dropped to one knee, gripping the dog's fur. "I'm here," he whispered. "I'm here." Bruno stayed steady, unmoving, the only solid thing in that space. Logan forced himself to breathe, slow, controlled. Not the past, not a trap, not a battlefield, just a tunnel, just a mountain. He stood again. "We keep going." Bruno didn't hesitate. They moved forward, deeper. The tunnel opened slightly after a few more yards, wider, but darker. The beam of light revealed something ahead. A drop. Not far, but enough. Logan stepped carefully to the edge. A section of the floor had collapsed, leaving a narrow gap. Below, past.I. Darkness. Depth unknown. The other side was reachable, but not easily. Logan measured the distance. "All right," he said quietly. He stepped back, prepared to jump. Bruno moved first, faster. The dog leaped across the gap with ease, landed clean, turned immediately, waiting. Logan exhaled, then jumped. His boots hit the ground hard. He stumbled slightly, and the rock beneath his foot shifted. Loose, unstable. The edge behind him crumbled, stones falling into the darkness below. Logan dropped to one knee, catching himself just in time. Bruno rushed forward instantly, pressing against him. "Easy, easy." Logan steadied himself, but his breathing had changed again. Faster, shallow. The sound of falling rock echoed below. Too long, too deep. His mind filled in the rest. "Not a drop," he muttered. "Just a hole." But it didn't feel like just anything. It felt like a warning. They moved on, slower now, more careful. The tunnel twisted slightly, curving deeper into the mountain. Then, a sound. Faint. Almost too quiet to notice. Water. Dripping. Echoing. Logan froze. Bruno did too. They listened. The sound came from ahead. Steady. Rhythmic. Logan's grip tightened on the flashlight. "Water." The word hung in the air. The warning echoed in his head. "Don't trust the water." Bruno growled low. Logan stepped forward anyway. The tunnel opened into a larger chamber, and there, a shallow pool, clear, still, perfectly calm. The surface reflected the light back at them, unmoving, inviting. Logan didn't step closer, didn't trust it. Not after everything. Not after the note. Bruno circled around it instead, keeping distance. Smart, always smart. And Logan followed his lead, and then he saw it. On the far side of the chamber, a doorway, metal, embedded into the rock, old, sealed, hidden, the key. Logan reached into his pocket, pulled it out. His hand tightened around it. This was it. Whatever his mother had hidden. whatever they were trying to keep buried. It was behind that door. Bruno stepped beside him, silent, ready. Logan took a breath, slow, steady, then stepped forward, toward the door, toward the truth, toward something that had been waiting for a very long time. The metal door didn't look like it belonged in a mountain. It was too clean in its shape, too deliberate. Thick steel framed tightly into the rock, as if someone had carved the earth itself just to hide it. Logan stopped a few feet away. The air here felt different, still, pressurized, like the mountain was holding something inside. Bruno stood beside him, body low, eyes fixed on the door. No barking, no sudden movement. Just focus. Logan lifted the key. His hand didn't shake this time, but his chest did. "This is it," he said quietly. The words echoed softly in the chamber. He stepped closer. The metal was cold under his fingers. Real, solid, final. He found the lock. Old, heavy, waiting. The key slid in without resistance. Perfect fit. Of course it was. Logan paused. Just for a second. His mind caught up to the moment. Everything that had led here. The fire. The warning. The map. His mother. If this door opened, there was no going back. He turned the key. The click echoed louder than it should have. Sharp, definite. The lock released. Logan exhaled slowly, and then pulled. The door resisted at first. Then, it moved. Slow, heavy. A deep metallic groan rolled through the chamber as the seal broke. Cold air rushed out from inside. Older air, stale, but not empty. The darkness beyond the doorway was thicker than the tunnel behind him. Deeper. Logan raised the flashlight. The beam cut forward, revealing a narrow corridor. Concrete. Not rock. Built. Deliberate. Hidden beneath everything. Bruno stepped forward first. Careful. Measured. Logan followed. Each step echoed differently now. Hollow. Contained. The corridor stretched ahead, lined with old wiring, rusted pipes, and walls that showed signs of age but not decay. This wasn't abandoned. Not completely. It had been used. Maintained. At least, at some point. Logan's breath slowed. His senses sharpened. This place wasn't natural. It was designed. For hiding. For surviving. For staying unseen. They moved deeper. The air grew warmer, faint, but noticeable. Logan frowned. "That's not possible." Then, a sound. Soft, faint, but real. A breath. Not his, not Bruno's. Another, weak, uneven. Logan froze. His heart slammed against his ribs. "Did you hear that?" Bruno was already moving. Faster now, alert, focused. The corridor opened into a larger room, dim, barely lit by a weak overhead bulb flickering intermittently. Logan stepped in. The beam of his flashlight swept across the space. Table, supplies, blankets, a small cot in the corner, and on it, a figure. Still, fragile, unmoving. Logan's breath stopped. For a second. He couldn't move, couldn't think, couldn't even breathe. Then, the figure shifted, barely. A hand, weak, trembling. The light flickered again, and Logan saw her face. Older, thinner, worn by time and something deeper than time, but unmistakable. Mom? The word broke out of him before he could stop it. The figure's eyes opened slowly, clouded, struggling. Then, focused. On him. Recognition came not all at once, but in waves. Her lips moved, dry, cracked, but forming one word. Logan. His knees hit the ground before he realized he had moved. He crawled to her, hands shaking now. This time, they couldn't be controlled. No, he whispered. No, this isn't. But it was. It was her, alive, breathing, looking at him like she had been waiting. For him. For this moment. His hands hovered over her, afraid to touch, afraid she might disappear if he did. Hey, she whispered faintly. Her voice was weak, but real. So real it hurt. I told you not to come. Logan let out a broken breath. I thought you were gone, he said, his voice cracking. They told me you were gone. She shook her head slightly. No. A faint smile touched her lips. I couldn't leave yet. Tears blurred Logan's vision. He didn't wipe them away. Didn't care. How? He asked. How are you here? Her breathing was shallow. Each word took effort. They were watching. After I found it, I had to disappear. Her eyes shifted slightly, toward the tunnel, toward the world above. I couldn't let them take it. Logan's mind raced. The water? He asked. She nodded weakly. It's not just water. Her voice dropped further. It's poison. And proof. Logan leaned closer. What do you mean? She swallowed. Pain visible in every movement. They've been contaminating it. Slowly. Controlling who gets sick. Who leaves. Logan's stomach dropped. Why? Her eyes locked onto his. Land, she whispered. Resources. People don't stay where they get sick. The pieces slammed together in Logan's mind. The land, the offers, the pressure, the fire. They wanted everyone gone, he said. She nodded faintly. And anyone who found out? She didn't finish the sentence. She didn't need to. Logan's jaw tightened. They tried to kill you. She shook her head slightly. They thought they did. A weak breath. I made sure they believed it. Silence filled the room. Heavy. Overwhelming. Logan looked around. This place. You built all this? She nodded. Your grandfather started it. I finished it. Logan swallowed hard. All those years, all those lies, all that silence. And she had been here, alone, waiting. Bruno stepped closer, careful, gentle. He lowered his head near her hand. She looked at him, a faint spark of warmth in her eyes. You brought him, she whispered. Logan nodded. He's the only reason I made it this far. She smiled weakly. Good dog. Bruno didn't move, just stayed there, present, steady, like he always had been. Logan looked back at her. We're getting you out of here, he said. She shook her head. No. His chest tightened. What do you mean, no? Her eyes sharpened slightly. You don't understand. They'll be watching. They always watch. A distant sound echoed faintly through the tunnel. Logan's head snapped toward the entrance. Bruno's ears went up instantly, alert, listening. The sound came again, faint, but closer. Movement. Logan's pulse spiked. They found us. His mother's eyes closed briefly, then opened again. Too soon. Logan stood quickly, his mind shifting instantly, from son to soldier. All right, he said, voice low, controlled. Then we move now. Bruno stepped beside him. Ready. Always ready. Logan looked back at his mother. I'm not leaving you here. Her eyes held his. Fear, love, and something else. Pride. Then, a faint nod. And just like that, the moment of reunion shattered. Because whatever had been waiting down here was no longer hidden. And now, they weren't alone anymore. The sound came again. Closer this time. Boots on concrete. Measured. Careful. Not rushing. And they knew exactly where they were going. Logan's entire body shifted. Not panic. Not hesitation. Training. Instinct. Control. Lights, he whispered. He moved quickly, shutting off the weak overhead bulb. The room dropped into darkness except for the narrow beam of his flashlight. Bruno moved silently to the entrance of the corridor, body low, ears forward, watching. Logan turned back to his mother. We have to move, he said, his voice steady now. Can you stand? She tried. Her body trembled under the effort. Too weak. Too long underground. Logan didn't hesitate. He slid one arm behind her back, the other under her legs. Lifted. She was lighter than she should have been. Fragile. But alive. That was all that mattered. Stay with me, he whispered. Her hand gripped his jacket weakly. I'm here, she said softly. Bruno let out a low warning growl. Logan turned. A shadow moved at the far end of the corridor. Flashlight beams cut through the darkness. Voices. Low. Controlled. They're inside. Logan's jaw tightened. No time. He scanned the room quickly. There, on the far wall, a panel. Old. Metal. Barely visible. He moved fast, shifting his mother slightly to one side while reaching for it. The panel resisted. Then, it gave. Behind it, a narrow secondary passage. Tighter. Lower. Hidden. Of course. Grandfather, Logan muttered. His mother nodded faintly. Emergency route. Logan stepped inside. Bruno followed immediately. The passage closed behind them with a dull click as Logan pulled the panel back into place. Darkness swallowed them. Only the flashlight remained. The passage sloped downward slightly. The air grew damp, colder. The sound of water echoed faintly ahead. Logan's grip tightened. Not the water. His mother's voice was barely audible. Not the pool. The other side. Logan nodded. He moved faster. Behind them, a metallic clang. Voices, louder now. They had found the room. They're close, Logan said. Bruno growled softly. The passage opened into another chamber. Larger, rougher, more natural. And there, a tunnel leading toward a distant opening. Faint light. Escape. But between them and that light, water. Not a pool. A rising stream. Flowing faster than it should. Logan stopped. The water was climbing, filling the lower section of the tunnel. Flood system, his mother whispered. Logan's eyes sharpened. You set this? She shook her head weakly. Fail safe. If someone enters. The realization hit him instantly. The system had been triggered. By them. Or by the people behind them. Either way. Time was running out. The water continued to rise. Fast. Cold. Relentless. Logan stepped forward, testing it. The current pushed harder than expected, stronger. "Bruno," he said. The dog moved immediately, stepping into the water ahead of him, testing the path, feeling the current. Smart. Always smart. Logan adjusted his grip on his mother. "We go through." Behind them, a voice echoed. Closer. "Check the passage." No more time. Logan stepped into the water. The cold hit instantly, sharp, biting. The current pushed against his legs, trying to throw him off balance. He tightened his stance, moved forward, step by step. Bruno stayed just ahead, guiding, while finding stable footing, keeping Logan on the safest path. The water rose to his knees, then higher. His boots slipped once. He caught himself. Barely. "Keep moving," he muttered. His mother's grip tightened weakly. "I'm here," she whispered again. The light ahead grew stronger, closer, but the current intensified. The tunnel narrowed. The water forced through a tighter space, accelerating. Logan's footing faltered again. This time, he slipped, dropped to one knee. The current surged, pulled. His mother shifted in his arms, almost lost. "Logan!" Bruno reacted instantly. He turned, lunging back through the water, gripping Logan's jacket with his teeth. Pulling, anchoring, holding him steady. Logan fought the current, forcing himself back up, breathing hard. "Good boy," he said through clenched teeth. But they moved again. Faster now. Behind them. A shout. "They're in the water!" Light beams cut through the darkness behind them. Too close. Way too close. Logan pushed harder. The exit was just ahead. But the water surged again. Stronger. Unstable. The tunnel floor dropped suddenly. A deeper section. Logan stepped into it and lost footing completely. The current hit full force, pulled him sideways. His mother slipped, half out of his arms. "Hold on," he shouted. Bruno lunged again. This time, he positioned himself between Logan and the current, bracing, taking the force. The water slammed into him instead. The dog let out a sharp, pained sound, but didn't move, didn't give. Logan regained his footing, grabbed his mother tighter. "Move!" he shouted. They pushed forward. Went one final surge. Then, they broke through, out of the tunnel, into open air. Cold night. Fresh oxygen. Logan staggered forward onto solid ground, collapsing to one knee, breathing hard, his mother still in his arms, alive. Bruno stumbled beside him, wet, shaking, but still standing. Logan reached out immediately. "You good?" Bruno huffed weakly, but stayed close, always close. Behind them, the water roared through the tunnel. Then, silence. No one followed. No footsteps. No voices. Just the sound of water sealing the passage behind them. Logan exhaled slowly. "They won't come through that," he said. His mother nodded faintly. "They'll find another way." Logan looked at her, then at Bruno, then out toward the darkness of the mountains. His jaw tightened. "Let them." The words came out calm, uncontrolled. But something had changed, something final. Because now, they had what mattered, the truth, the proof, and each other. And whatever came next, Logan wasn't just surviving anymore. He was ready to fight back. The cold night air cut through everything, through the wet clothes clinging to his body, through the ache in his muscles, through the shock that still hadn't fully settled. But Logan didn't slow down. Couldn't. Not now. Not after everything they had just pulled out of the mountain. He moved carefully across the rocky ground, carrying his mother as steadily as he could, each step deliberate despite the fatigue pulling at him. Bruno stayed close on his right side, limping slightly now but refusing to fall behind. Logan noticed. Of course he did. "You're hurt," he said under his breath. Bruno ignored him, kept moving, always forward. Logan didn't push it. There would be time later. There had to be. They reached the tree line and moved through it slowly, branches brushing against them, shadows swallowing them whole. The world outside the tunnel felt different now. Wider, but not safer. His mind was already moving ahead. "They'll regroup," he said quietly. "They won't stop." His mother's voice came faint but steady. "They never do." Logan tightened his grip. "Then we don't give them time." They reached the truck, still there, untouched. For now. Logan opened the passenger door carefully, lowering his mother into the seat with as much care as he could manage. She winced slightly, but didn't complain. Bruno jumped into the back, settling down but keeping his head up, eyes alert despite the exhaustion, as Logan climbed into the driver's seat. The engine roared to life. The sound cut through the silence like a signal. "We're not going back to the house," Logan said. "Too exposed." His mother nodded weakly. "Town won't be safe either." Logan knew that already. "They'll expect both." He gripped the wheel, thinking, fast. Then, a memory surfaced. The map. Not just the marked location. There had been notes, small, easy to miss, coordinates. Logan reached into his jacket, pulling it out again, unfolding it across the wheel. There. Another point. Not circled, but marked. A backup. Of course. His mother noticed. "Your grandfather," she whispered. "He built more than one place." Logan nodded slowly. "Then that's where we go." He put the truck in gear. They moved, down the narrow path, back toward the lower roads. But not toward town, not toward the farm. Somewhere else. Somewhere hidden. The drive felt longer this time. Every turn felt watched. Every shadow felt like it might move. Logan checked the mirrors constantly. Nothing. But that didn't mean anything anymore. They were out there. Somewhere. Waiting. Bruno shifted in the back. A low growl. Logan glanced in the mirror. "What is it?" The dog's eyes were fixed behind them. Logan looked again. And there. Headlights. Far back. But gaining. "They're back," Logan muttered. His grip tightened. He pressed the gas. The truck surged forward. The road twisted. Gravel spit out behind them. The headlights followed. Closer now. Not hiding anymore. Logan's mind shifted again. From escape to strategy. "Hold on," he said. He took a sharp turn off the main path, and cutting into a narrower trail barely visible between the trees. The truck jolted hard. Branches scraped against the sides. The headlights behind hesitated, then followed, persistent. Logan's jaw tightened. Not losing them this way. Bruno barked once, sharp, warning. Logan saw it ahead. The clearing, the second structure, smaller, hidden deeper in the trees. "Stay with me," Logan said quietly. He drove straight toward it. Didn't slow, didn't hesitate. The truck skidded to a stop just short of the entrance. "Out," he said. He moved fast, grabbing his mother again, lifting her from the seat. Bruno jumped out, positioning himself instantly. The headlights broke through the trees behind them. Too close. Way too close. Logan didn't look back. He moved toward the structure. The door was concealed, to blend it into the wood. But the key, the same key. He pulled it out, inserted, turned. The door clicked open. They stepped inside. Darkness swallowed them again. Logan shut the door behind them. Locked it. Then, silence. Complete. Heavy. But this silence was different. Protected. contained. Logan lowered his mother onto a small cot inside. This place was simpler than the last, but functional. Supplies, equipment, and a signal unit. Old, but working. Logan's eyes locked onto it. His mother saw it too. "That's how we end this," she whispered. Logan nodded. He moved to the unit. Powered it on. The screen flickered, then stabilized. Signal weak. But enough. "What are you doing?" his mother asked. Logan's voice was calm, focused. "I'm not running anymore." He adjusted the camera, positioned it, pointed it toward them, toward the evidence he had carried out. The map, the notes, the truth. "They've been hiding this for years," he said. "We're done hiding." His mother watched him, something like pride in her eyes again. "You're sure?" Logan met her gaze. "They already came for us," he said. "This ends one way or another." He activated the stream. The red light blinked. Live. Logan stepped into frame, his voice steady, clear. "My name is Logan Pierce," he said. "If you're seeing this, it means someone didn't want this information to get out." He laid everything out. The land, the contamination, the pressure, the attacks, every piece, every truth. Behind them, a sound, faint, outside. They had found them. Bruno stood, growling low, ready. Logan didn't stop, didn't look back. He kept speaking. And because now, it wasn't about survival. It was about exposure. About making sure the truth couldn't be buried again. A voice echoed faintly from outside. Closer. Angrier. "Logan!" "Calvin." Logan's eyes didn't move. He finished what he started. "Everything is recorded," he said. "Everything is live." A pause, then, "We're not going anywhere." Bruno stepped forward, between Logan and the door, unmoving, unshaken. The tension in the room thickened. Every second stretched. And then, sirens. Distant at first, then closer, then unmistakable. Logan exhaled slowly. "They're too late," he said quietly. His mother smiled faintly. "Or right on time." Outside. Voices shifted. Confusion. Movement. Control slipping. Logan finally looked toward the door, then back at the camera. "It's over." And for the first time since this began, it actually felt true. The sirens didn't stop. They grew louder, closer, filling the trees with a sound Logan hadn't trusted in a long time. Help. Real help. Outside, voices overlapped. Orders were shouted. Footsteps rushed across gravel and dirt. The sharp beam of flashlights cut through the cracks of the cabin walls. Bruno didn't move. Still standing between Logan and the door, muscles tight, ears forward. Ready. Always ready. Logan slowly reached down and placed a hand on the dog's back. "It's okay," he said quietly. Bruno didn't relax immediately, but the growl faded. Just a little. The knock came next, firm, authoritative. "Sheriff's Department, open the door." Logan glanced at his mother. She nodded, a silent agreement. He moved to the door, unlocking it carefully, then stepping back as it opened. Cold air rushed in. So did the lights. Several officers stepped inside, weapons lowered but cautious. Behind them, more figures moved through the trees, paramedics, additional units, and further back, Calvin Rourke stood in the flood of headlights, surrounded, not in control anymore, His face, once calm and confident, was tight now, controlled anger slipping through the cracks. For a moment, his eyes locked with Logan's. No words. But everything was understood. It was over. An officer approached Logan slowly. "Are you Logan Pierce?" Logan nodded. "Yes." The officer glanced at the equipment, the active feed still running, the documents laid out, then back at Logan. "We saw the broadcast." A pause. "You did the right thing." Logan didn't answer. Didn't know how. Yet because right and wrong hadn't felt that simple in a long time. Paramedics moved past him, kneeling beside his mother. "She's alive," one of them said, almost in disbelief. Logan swallowed. "Yeah," he said quietly. "She is." They worked quickly but gently, checking her vitals, wrapping her in blankets, preparing a stretcher. She looked at Logan as they did. Not afraid, not uncertain, just calm. "You stayed," she said softly. Logan shook his head. "No," he replied. "I came back." Her hand reached out. He took it. For a moment, everything else disappeared. No sirens, no officers, no past. Just that. Just them. Bruno stepped closer, lowering himself beside them, resting his head lightly against Logan's leg. Logan looked down at him. "You did good," he whispered. Bruno's tail moved once, slow, tired, but certain. But outside, movement shifted again. Voices grew sharper. Logan glanced up. Calvin was being led forward now, hands restrained, still trying to hold on to whatever control he thought he had left. "This isn't over," Calvin said, his voice low but edged. Logan stepped outside. The cold hit him again, but it didn't feel the same anymore. "No," Logan said calmly. "It is." Calvin's eyes narrowed. "You have no idea what you've stepped into." Logan held his gaze. "I do," he said. "And now so does everyone else." Calvin didn't respond. Didn't need to. The officers moved him away. And just like that, the weight of him left the space. Gone. Logan stood there for a moment longer, breathing, really breathing, for the first time in years. 6 months later, the land looked different, not untouched, but alive. The broken fence lines had been rebuilt. The old barn stood straighter now, reinforced and repaired. New grass pushed through soil that had once been neglected. The house. It wasn't perfect, but it stood. And that was enough. Logan sat on the front porch, a worn wooden chair beneath him, the late afternoon sun stretching long shadows across the land. The mountains in the distance were quiet, still, peaceful. Bruno lay beside him, older now, a faint scar visible along his side where the injury had healed. It hadn't slowed him down much, but Logan noticed the way he moved, more careful, more deliberate, still strong, still there, always there. "You earned that rest," Logan said softly. Bruno didn't open his eyes. Didn't need to. Inside the house, a voice called out, "Logan?" He turned, but his mother stood in the doorway. Stronger now. Not the woman he had found underground, but not the one he had lost either. Something new, something rebuilt. "I made coffee," she said with a small smile. Logan stood slowly. "I'll be right there." He looked back at the land once more. 80 acres. It had never just been land. It had been a secret, a fight, a past buried too deep. And now, it was something else, a place, a home. He stepped down from the porch. Bruno rose with him instantly, falling into step like he always had, side by side. They walked toward the house, toward the life waiting inside. No alarms, no fear, no running, just quiet, just peace. Logan paused at the doorway, one hand resting briefly against the frame. He looked out one last time, at everything behind him, then stepped inside. And this time, he didn't look back. Because he didn't need to. He had finally found the one place he wasn't trying to escape from, and the one thing he thought he had lost forever. A reason to stay. If this story meant something to you, don't just scroll away. Drop a simple 1 in the comments if you believe loyalty like Bruno's still exists, or type 0 if you think stories like this only happen in movies. I read every single comment, and I want to know where you stand. Also, tell me where you're watching from. Let's see how far this story traveled, and if you stayed all the way to the end, you're part of this journey now. Hit subscribe and come back for the next story, because out here, there are always more stories waiting to be found.